Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Litter Media Live. This is Monday, February the 5th, 2024, the first Monday in February. I'm Mike Smith, and you are?
I'm Aaron Glandon. And that'll show up down there in a second.
Where'd you come from?
It'll have my name. I came from Frankfurt, just like you.
Originally?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say from my mommy and my daddy. Yeah, we got the word last week. The groundhogs didn't see their shadow, and at least this week, it looks like they were right.
The sun is out.
Yeah, springtime is in the air. I think I saw one day they're looking at maybe even 60.
Yeah.
60 is a possibility for one day this week.
I can tell when the sun's out because my beard gets real red.
Well, yeah, it's there's a lot of TV shows or movies that I'm looking at the character and I'm thinking, is their hair just brown or is it red? But a lot of times when there's light on it, then you can tell that it's red. But it's good to have you along with us. Aaron and I have some topics, some sports. We'll be talking about that weather here. Sunny skies today through Wednesday. High of 52 today and tomorrow, possibly even that or a little warmer on Wednesday. No sign of rain except maybe Friday, just a slight chance of precipitation. When we come back, we'll take a look at our topics for the day, all here on the Monday edition of Litter Media Live. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, they are there to help you. And we've been talking about winter cleanup. Well, officially we're not in spring yet, but with this mild temperatures out there, there's probably people already starting to do some quote-unquote spring cleanup. If that's you, give Carl a call at 253-8389 for a free quote.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
At Rathkamp Financial, we provide wealth management services that may ease clients' fears of financial loss and help them retire comfortably. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
Let's jump into the topics for the day, and we start off with a sad note. Former Ross County Commissioner and longtime owner of Hirsch's Fruit Farm, Frank Hirsch, passed away on Saturday. Frank served on numerous civic and governmental boards over the years, along, of course, with his longtime business career. Now, this photo came from his daughter, Laura Vollmer. This is obviously when Frank was a few years younger, but what a guy. When Dan Ramey and I used to do our blood drives, Dan and Mike blood drives on WBEX, almost every time Frank was there donating blood. I have no idea what where he was as far as, because regular blood donors, they get a pin after so many gallons. Don't know, Dan might know where Frank was as far as how far along that ladder that he was, but just a great guy, just a fantastic fella, and will certainly be missed in our community, and our thoughts and prayers out there for the Hirsch family. Chillicothe road closures this week. More of the work that Columbia Gas is doing with running underground gas lines. For this week, starting today, in fact, I think it started at 7:30 this morning, this work will involve South Mulberry Street between Main and East 4th, as well as East 4th between Caldwell and South Hickory Street. Again, that's going on here in Chillicothe most of this week.
And join the Friends of the Hopewell Culture National Historic Park for Birdwatching 101 on February 17th at 9 a.m. That's a Saturday morning. They will gather at the Hopewell Mound Group Picnic Shelter House on Sulphur Lake Road. There will also be ranger-guided bird-watching hike. And that's a cardinal. I know
I
that.
was just ready to ask you if you knew what kind of I think the cardinal is one of the prettiest birds.
It's the Ohio State bird.
And you know that the female cardinal is typically brown? Mm-hmm. Yes.
The red ones are always, or the fancy birds are always the males. Like peacocks, you think of the pretty ones, those are the men.
In human society, it's usually the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we would think the gals are the pretty ones. Chillicothe Veterans Affairs Medical Center is announcing more details about their centennial celebration, which will be May the 29th through June 1st. About a month ago, we told you that they were going to be doing this, but all of the specifics as to what they're going to be doing over those few days can be found within our website story at littermedia.com.
And backed by popular demand, the Fayette Regional Humane Society's original Fur Ball is back on March 9th at the Mahan Building in Washington Courthouse from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. There will be appetizers, a catered 3-course seated meal with wine, brews, and cocktails. There will be silent and live auction games. The dress code will be festive, just a step above business casual.
And you get the play on words there, the fur ball.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Blessings in a backpack, giving new hope. Heritage NAS of Circleville is once again holding a drive for blessings in a backpack now until March the 17th. The ministry currently provides weekend meals, which is food supplement packs for 301 children of Pickaway County. Now, once the need's identified, the child is provided a food supplement pack. Look for black tubs with yellow lids throughout the building as the official drop-off points. If you have any questions, you can contact Amy Pullman at A. Pullman, and that's spelled P-O-H-L-M-A-N, like Pullman Road in Chillicothe, at heritagenaz.org. And those are your topics for this Monday. In sports is coming up next. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. In fact, we got to have them come in and take a look at a plumbing situation in the Smith household, but they've been there before and helped us out with all of these three categories, and I can give you a good recommendation. If you have any needs in these three, heating, cooling, or plumbing, give Accurate a call.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Check out all the McDonald's locations in our area, 4 stores in Chillicothe, also Circleville, Waverly, and Greenfield. At McDonald's,
I'm loving it.
good man. Girls basketball tournament brackets released throughout the state of Ohio yesterday. In the Southeast District, the top seed for Division II is Fairland. Portsmouth in Division III, Waterford 4 for Southeast District does not have any tournaments for Division I. The few schools that we do have, they send them up to the Central District. I will apologize on behalf of the Central District, not the first time, that they don't have the brackets loaded yet. And here we are at 11:10 on a Monday morning. I sent a note off to Tim Streed of the OHSAA asking, do you know who might have this information? Some of the individual schools, I think Larry Hergis of Bloom Carroll posted something for Division II, and somebody posted something for Division I, but there's nothing up that I've been able to find for 3 and 4. Just keep checking our website. The links, hopefully, from Central District will eventually show up. But not the only thing in high school basketball over the weekend.
No, it is not. The Washington Courthouse boys surged into a virtual tie for the FAC basketball lead with a 43-37 win over Miami Trace. This is the Panthers' first loss, and Washington Courthouse and Miami Trace have the same number of losses. Courthouse is one win behind, but they have one more game to play. So if they can win out, they win at least a share of the lead for the FAC title.
And as you can see from your picture of the crowd, the place was packed.
It was.
And rocking, I'm sure.
Yes, it was.
Now, a side note concerning Washington Courthouse, Litter Media Radio will be broadcasting from Washington Courthouse a non-conference matchup with Vinton County. Those will be two of the big Division II teams in the Southeast District for boys tournaments when the pairings come out this weekend. So we'll get a preview of those two powerhouses going at each other tomorrow night. Speaking of the FAC, the Jackson girls, who had already wrapped up a league championship almost 2 weeks ago, they finished off a perfect conference season at 10-0 with a 66-33 win over Chillicothe Saturday. As far as league scores, the game that Aaron covered and the one I just mentioned were the biggies as far as any conference play from over the weekend. 8th-ranked Ohio State women's basketball continues to win. Seems like after they knocked off number 2 Iowa, they've been smoking. In fact, this win over number 2 Indiana yesterday was their 9th consecutive win. That one was 74-69. Congratulations goes out to both the boys and girls bowling teams from Tays Valley as they swept the Mid-State League Bowling Championships over the weekend. Congratulations, Vikings.
The Huntington High School Grapplers finished second overall as a team at the Fairland Dragons Invitational Wrestling Meet. Huntington's Maverick Smith was the individual meet champ for that meet on February 3rd. The Logan Invitational Wrestling Meet Saturday saw Bloom Carroll as the champion. Logan was the runner-up. Fairfield Union came in 3rd, Paint Valley 5th, Adena 8th, and Tays Valley 11th at that meet.
And, of course, wrestling tournaments, that's another one of the winter sports that'll be coming up on postseason play here before you know it. That's a look at our sports for today. When we come back for this day in history, we're looking at the year 146 BC.
Way back in your heyday.
Way back. I was just a wee child at that time. We'll check out what that's all about right after this.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
Mike Smith and Aaron Glandon back with you on Litter Media Live. We always finish with this date in history. When you did your studies of history in either high school or college, did you study on the Roman Carthage or Carthaginians' Punic War?
Oh, I did actually in a World Civ class at college.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
What were some of the more fascinating things you heard about?
Well, it was all fascinating. I had a very fascinating professor. Your brother, Mark Smith.
Mark, I wasn't leading into that. I forgot that he was your professor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was a fun class.
So maybe I should have you read this.
Well, you have it pulled up right there.
In 146 BC, the Roman Republic finally triumphed over its nemesis, Carthage, after more than a century of fighting. The victory and subsequent destruction of the city of Carthage marked the end of the Punic Wars and represented Rome's replacement of Carthage as the dominant power of the Western Mediterranean. a position that it would hold, the Romans, that is, for the next several centuries. Now, this photo is a bronze Carthaginian naval ram that dates from or before the Battle of the Egadi Islands, which was the First Punic War, in 241 BC. So that's almost 100 years prior to the end of the war that we're talking about. So that bad boy is old.
Yeah. The Carthaginians were the ones that used the elephants, right?
Hannibal?
Hannibal, yeah.
Went over the Swiss, or not the Swiss Italian Alps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, I know things.
You know your Punic Wars. Yeah.
How do we know that it was this date? How do we know that it was February 5th?
They must have wrote it down somewhere. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Go back to that photo. Does it look like there's writing on it?
It just
or,
looks
or designs
rusty to
or
me.
anything?
Just looks rusty.
When they had some of the, for those of you that aren't familiar, you may be familiar with the old train station known as Union Terminal in Cincinnati. It's now the Cincinnati Museum.
Mm-hmm.
But they, from time to time, will bring in exhibits. And over the years, they've had Pompeii. They've had some of the Dead Sea Scrolls. They had Cleopatra. The one about Cleopatra was, I thought, fascinating because for many centuries, there were people that claimed that Cleopatra never existed.
Really?
That was myth. But the ancient city of Alexandria, which was submerged, they think that, this thing about Atlantis, there may be something to that because there might have been this flood that covered everything up. Well, when some of the artifacts of Alexandria started appearing because the water levels were dropping, they found all this stuff about Cleopatra.
I thought Alexandria had the library that got caught on fire.
Well, that's another thing.
Okay.
But some of that stuff, made it through.
Okay.
But there were statues, there were giant columns, there were coins. The Romans were kind of like the Egyptians in that if you got on their bad side, they not only would whip you, but they would, if they whipped you bad enough, they would erase you from history.
Yeah.
And I think if you followed the story of Cleopatra and Julius Caesar and Marcus Aurelius, she got on their bad side.
Yeah.
So that might have been one of those things that they just tried to erase her, but there were some things that survived. And Cleopatra was a real person. So, but the Punic Wars, which involved the Romans and the Carthaginians, after more than that's a long time to fight, 100 years.
It's a really long time.
We were getting weary in World War II and Vietnam after about 7 to 10 years, and
it's also different kinds of fighting, though.
Oh yeah,
I'd imagine it was a lot slower back then. Wars, because you gotta take a lot of time to get to where you want to fight. Yeah.
Yeah, and what would have logistics have been like at that time? Because you got to carry food and ammunition and material. They didn't have the Red Ball Express like we did in Europe during World War II.
Well, maybe if you get too hungry, you can just kill one of your elephants, and that'll feed your whole army.
Well, that or donkey or whatever the case may be. So, all righty, that's how things will wrap up. Dan's on assignment today and tomorrow morning. I don't know, he may have some video. I think he's at a science fair this morning, and he's going to be, I know, tomorrow morning working on a project down at Western School.
Making a baking soda volcano today.
I'd like to see Dan with the goggles on, doing that whole thing. He did the thing where he threw the water up and the extreme cold temperatures and how it vaporized. Maybe he'll have some kind of a video project for us either tomorrow or the day after. So it'll be Aaron and I again tomorrow. And don't forget, Litter Media Radio's next broadcast, as we said earlier, is Vinton County at Washington Courthouse Boys Tuesday night, tomorrow night on the radio. Anything else you want to add?
Listen to Litter Media Radio. You can find it on littermedia.com or on the Live 365 app.
We'll get her all loaded. And if you missed our special edition with Barbara Mahaffey of Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health Center, that'll end up eventually on Litter Media Radio as well.
It's on the radio right now.
Okay.
It'll be in YouTube in probably 15 minutes.
Gotcha. And, of course, you can go back and see it. I see we've already had more than 100 views on it. So, Barb, with some good information. We didn't talk about it on the headlines because we just talked about it on the news. We might mention it again on the headlines tomorrow. That interview came about because somebody said, why did they close the clinic in Greenfield? Barbara explains that and has a lot more information about some things that have changed over the last few years at Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health Center. All right, that's a wrap-up for Aaron Glandon. This is Mike Smith from all of us at Litter Media Live. Have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.